if you make friends with me, you can come to my world-famous legal spliff smoking salon. But, it's really meant to be private. I have the world's only, I think it's the world's only marijuana smoking room at work, so that I can keep on smoking all day long, because that's what I need to have. And this struck some people as a pretty odd situation. When it first hit the news, it was in like oddnews.com. Like, okay, like mermaids now can swim separately, or teacher allowed to smoke pot at school. So it was a kind of a freak show and a kind of a weird situation, and it went all across the world, and I became an involuntary celebrity. And so the process of becoming the world's weirdest marijuana smoker is not a very nice one. And you may have experienced in your own life some degree of opposition to smoking marijuana, some kind of attitude problems from the authorities or from your parents. Well, I had that big time because the university tried to enforce the law against me. Luckily for me, they didn't know the law as well as I did. And so they said that I was a criminal because I didn't have my authorization. I said, no. The law itself is not valid. And you can't possibly enforce this law against me because I know better. They said, oh, no, I think you must be, oh, no, I think that, oh, yes, it's a very serious crime. I said, no, the law itself became invalid quite a few years ago, and I can show this to you. And then we went back and forth in this vein. It wasn't a very pretty situation. There was kind of a, quite a little aggravation back and forth, and eventually, I'm going to kind of skip over some stuff, but they lost. And they lost in a rather humiliating way, and they had to give in. Now, at this point, I realized that having been exposed as being a chronic marijuana smoker, smoking 5 to 10 joints a day, and still functioning perfectly well, teaching all my classes, writing books, publishing translations, writing poetry, teaching classes, organizing the world's largest collection of philosophy courses in the world, this here U of T philosophy department, where I ran the program, smoking 5 to 10 joints a day. And this seemed like a difficult thing to believe. People say, well, I get so wasted on one joint, so whoa, the professor is really big. The problem is that if you have a genuine medical need, you do not respond the same way. If you have a short interval between this moment and your last smoke, then you don't get high. You may get a bit less low, but you don't get high. And so I suffered a really appalling degree of prejudice that I was somehow unfit for my job, incapable, constantly stoned. But the truth is that I held it down much better than most of my colleagues, and much better than I would have otherwise. So I found myself in this predicament. I says, either you got to crawl back into the closet and accept that they are right in humiliating this practice, which is saving your life, or else you've got to come out of the closet and stand up straight and tall. And so I said, no, I think I'll stand up straight and tall. And so since then, I've been an open, unashamed advocate of marijuana and of its value for health and of the right for it to be free. I've known that it had to be free. I've known this for a fact for 35 years. I've known this since 1972, when I was a first-year college student, and I personally read the report of the Dane Royal Commission on the illegal use of drugs. And the poor fellow died a while ago, Justice Gerald Forrest Ledane, but he must have died terribly disappointed because his report was correct. His report says, this is an appalling scandal that we're criminalizing our youth for a harmless practice. And so in 1972, that's 6 years ago, when I was a college student, I knew that it was wrong to criminalize this plant. I knew that freedom would come in a year or two. It's either going to be 1973 or 74, but freedom was going to come then. We knew that back in those days.
Keep the faith!
The faith was hard to keep. I joined a legalized cannabis campaign in England when I went there as a Rhodes Scholar. I swore a mighty oath that I would see this plant legalized before my children hit teenage years. And when my daughter was 12, I became a legal user, but the rest of you guys didn't, right? I mean, that's what it seems, and it seems like it was a very partial liberation. And so my generation, and I'm 52 years old, my generation did not succeed in liberating this plant for you people. Because I don't notice very many people who are older than me out there. I notice people 52, any others, 52 and counting, 53.
3,000 people smoking pot in a
So,
park.
you know, we generation, we didn't quite pull it off and succeed the way I thought we should have succeeded in liberating this plant for you young folk. And so we do have to keep on fighting and keep on struggling. Now, there was a big success in 2008 when Terence Parker won his right to use cannabis medicinally. And the court of law struck down the law saying, oh, well, if Parliament bans cannabis universally, but this fellow has a right to use it for his health, then the law must be constitutionally inadequate. And so from that time, 2000 onwards, the law has not been valid. And this is the fact that I knew when I confronted the university. Now, this is where the paper comes in.